against the Gaza Strip, and he received one. Thank you, Yasmin Affas, the correspondent of the Egyptian television from Sharm El-Sheikh, and we move on to the speech that took place by the American President Donald Trump that followed the speech of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The US President stated that today they have achieved the impossible, which is peace in the Middle East. He stated that the war in Gaza is over and the civilians are returning to their homes, as we did see for the past couple of days, with the help, with the assistance of the Egyptian authorities in the Gaza Strip as well. And he mentioned that the rebuilding, Donald Trump, he stated that the rebuilding begins today and it will be in cooperation with the Egyptian authorities. The US President Donald Trump also thanked the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for hosting the summit for today, for the peace agreements that took place for today, that were signed with alongside the US President, the Egyptian President, and the President of Turkey and the Prince of Qatar. And he also appreciated that 6 fighter jets had escorted him along the way within the Egyptian airspace all the way to the airport of Sharm El-Sheikh, and that he was honored to be awarded the Order of the Nile, something that was announced earlier by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for his efforts in peace. He thanked Qatar, he thanked Turkey, and he even thanked the Saudi Prince Mohammed ibn Salman of Saudi Arabia, King Abdullah II of Jordan, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shahbaz Sharif, which led to a speech by the Pakistani delegate and the Pakistani representative at the Peace Summit in Sharm El-Sheikh, and stating that peace was achieved after the efforts led by the US President Donald Trump, and who is a man of peace, saving millions of lives in the Middle East. And once again, the US President Donald Trump returned and welcomed the attendants one by one from every country, every world leader from every country, welcoming the new beginning with the end of the war that was marked for today. The US President Donald Trump stated that the final sprint of the peace negotiations, they began in New York on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly 3 weeks ago, where the ideas were exchanged until the job was done, but no one expected this happening. Can see the departure now happening live of the US President Donald Trump leaving Sharm El-Sheikh, leaving the city of peace after the conclusion of the peace agreement, after the signing ceremony of the peace agreement to be ending the war in the Gaza Strip, alongside the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and the Prince of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad. The US President is leaving Sharm El-Sheikh after the press conference that he had given alongside His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. As the US President during the press conference also stated that in Israel, the Israelis are overjoyed with the news that the war is over. They are dancing on the streets after the news was propagated, and that the United States had worked really hard to guarantee peace with coordination very well, especially with the wealthy countries, to be ensuring the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip to be taking place as soon as possible for the benefit of the Palestinians, the cleaning process, as he mentioned, as he called it, to be taken place as soon as possible. Momentum towards peace with the 20-point plan that he has proposed. It is going on, it is moving forward within stages 3 and 4. He mentioned and he described the leaders that were present today in Sharm El-Sheikh as incredibly responsible leaders who were in this room with him, and they put their differences aside to have peace in the Middle East. On the other hand, he mentioned that the people of Gaza want to restore the basics of life, and they need a lot of money to rebuild the Strip, ensuring stability and success in the Middle East once again. It was a monumental day, according to the statements of the US President, in the history of the world, not just in the history of the region, and that he will not be funding hatred, bloodshed, and terror anymore. He said that it is time to be demilitarizing the Strip, working with the United States and the mediating countries. And he mentioned once again for the second time today that